So thank you very much, and I'd be happy to speak with anyone after when I get off the stage here, or for any questions and answers. Thank you.
I am the teacher of ESC for 30 years in Broward County. I am in the longest e-board member of the Broward Teachers Union. Your son is an amazing individual. I teach adults with disabilities. Did you ever go to a neurologist and Dr.
Just highlight some of what Eric said. And you know, you're seeing a very handsome young man, a very articulate young man, who has always had that endearing personality, but who has struggled tremendously. Eric wasn't always the Eric you're seeing today. It's to his parents' credit, Sarah and Ron. I've worked for years with him. His struggles, the ups and downs, sometimes the frustration with me. I know this is a family that pushed forward, didn't take no for an answer, made things happen, became realistic, but never lost sight of what was really important and how to reach the goals successfully that Eric set for himself. The times that Eric struggled were so hard to watch. The times where he wanted so to succeed and the system wasn't ready. The system wasn't really ready to help a young man as capable as Eric, as motivated as Eric, with as many supports behind him. The system still wasn't there. Take that professor that Eric mentioned, the math professor. That's true. He did say, accommodations, a note taker. You don't look blind to me. That was at a university in New York City, one of the supposedly most sophisticated places, although I do think we're a bit provincial. We take ourselves a little too seriously there. And there are decisions that need to be made in times like that. Do you sue? Because that's discrimination. That's downright discrimination. Do you pull the student, encourage the student to drop that class because you don't want that student to be a pawn? So we struggled with that. At that point in time, our program was one of the few in the country. Now, in the last 4 years or so, 5 years, we've seen college support spring up everywhere, and people are doing a remarkable job. But we were right there at that cusp of that wave, and we had to really think about what do you do and what's in Eric's best interest and then what's in the long-term interest for the field and for the people that are going to be following Eric. So we went to see that professor. We figured, well, we'll talk to him. You know, he's a professor, he's a teacher. What we didn't realize was that everybody's not like the people in this room. And that faculty at universities are teaching outside of the School of Ed. The faculty are teaching what they've built an expertise in, but they haven't necessarily developed an expertise in teaching. They've developed an expertise in a small area, and that's what their classes are focused on. So we went to see this professor, Fran Dreyfus, who was the coordinator of the program, and he said to me, I didn't come to PACE to wear pom-poms. For the life of me, I didn't know what he was talking about. It took me a minute to realize he wasn't going to be a cheerleader for a kid. It was so antithetical to what we know is good education. And that's what the kids were facing, not with just one faculty member, but from faculty members across the country. Then there were the offices for disabilities. Every office in every university across this country today, every office for disability services is spread beyond their capacity. So what did we hear? We heard, gee, we're filled and we don't have training in autism, so we're not going to be a good resource for you. It's become much different today, just in the recent couple of years. But you need, at your universities, to really be advocates for the programs, the support programs that are there. Now what Eric's saying, and you really need to hear this, what he's saying is that's not the new frontier anymore, where we've done inclusion and we've gotten to a wonderful point in most of our schools across the country, and then we've done post-secondary ed, and we're meeting needs there. When students graduate from college and they go to look for work, and you look at the employment programs that are out there to support our young men and women, what do? They teach resume writing, they teach interview skills, and they try to get jobs. But I understand there's high unemployment for all kids coming out of college today. But our services are so weak. They are so weak across our country. And this could be, Eric, a real call to action to say, how do we now do the next frontier? How do we help young men and women who are searching for jobs? And believe me, the days aren't fun when they have to come face to face with not having employment. So Eric, you've lit up our conference, you've lit up the room, you've lit up our day, you've been spectacular. Now what we have to do, based on what you've shared with us, is we have to do the next frontier, and that's the employment frontier. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Diane. This brings us to the conclusion of our opening general session, and I'd really like to thank you for your kind attention. Eric's talk really was very special, very riveting, very inspiring, so thank you as well. I have just a couple of housekeeping items to share. On page 5 of the program book, you will see the room locations listed. We are on a conference level, so we have Sand Key Beach, Gulf,